Imagine you're climbing a mountain. For years you walk uphill, every day feels the same. The view barely changes, your legs hurt, your progress feels invisible. Then suddenly you reach a ridge. The scenery opens up, the climb becomes easier, and for the first time it feels like all those years of effort are finally paying off. Most people think building wealth works the same way. Save a little money, invest consistently, wait a few years, become rich. But that's not what actually happens, because compounding is deceptive. For a very long time it looks broken. Your portfolio grows painfully slowly. The numbers barely move. Your investments earn less in a year than you contribute from your paycheck. And then one day, something strange happens. Your money starts earning more money than you do. The growth curve bends upward. The machine wakes up. And here's the truly heartbreaking part. Most people quit right before they reach that point. Today we're going to answer a fascinating question. Is there an exact dollar amount where compounding finally catches fire? And if there is, why do so many people give up before getting there? Let's start with the biggest misunderstanding in personal finance. People love to say, just let compound interest do the work. But compound interest doesn't feel magical in the beginning, it feels disappointing. Suppose you invest $500 every month into an index fund earning an average annual return of 8%. Most beginners imagine that after a few years they'll already feel wealthy. Instead, here's what actually happens. After 1 year, you've invested $6,000. Your portfolio is worth roughly $6,250. You earned only about $250. That's barely enough to buy groceries for a month. After 3 years, you've invested $18,000. Your portfolio is worth approximately $20,000. The growth still feels unimpressive. Even after 5 years, you've contributed $30,000. Your investments are worth roughly $37,000. 5 years of discipline. And the market has only added around $7,000. Many people look at numbers like these and think, what's the point? And that's exactly when they make the biggest mistake of their financial lives. Our brains evolved to understand linear growth. Work 1 hour, earn $20, work 10 hours, earn $200. Everything around us feels predictable. Compounding is different. Compounding is exponential. The formula is simple, but the consequences are anything but simple. Imagine a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it barely grows. Then it doubles, then doubles again. Eventually, it becomes an avalanche. Money behaves in exactly the same way. The problem is that human beings are incredibly impatient. We overestimate what can happen in 1 year and underestimate what can happen in 30. And because the early years feel slow, millions of people abandon the process long before the mathematics becomes exciting. Let's answer the question everyone wants to know. At what point does compounding actually begin to feel meaningful? The answer isn't a specific age. It's not 30. It's not 40. It's not retirement. The real tipping point happens when your investments earn as much money as you contribute. Let's imagine that you invest $500 every month. That's $6,000 per year. Now ask yourself, how large does your portfolio need to become before an 8% annual return produces $6,000? The math is surprisingly simple. Portfolio value times 8% equals $6,000. That means portfolio value equals $75,000. And there it is. For someone investing $500 per month, approximately $75,000 is the first major milestone. Because at that point, your money begins contributing as much as you do. For the first time, you're no longer building wealth alone. Your investments have joined the team. Imagine 2 investors. Emma has invested $20,000. At 8%, her portfolio earns $1,600 per year. Jacob has invested $75,000. At 8%, his portfolio earns $6,000 per year. Both continue investing the same amount every month. But psychologically, they live in different worlds. Emma still feels like she's doing all the work. Jacob begins to see something extraordinary. He goes on vacation. His money keeps growing. He sleeps. His money keeps growing. He works. His money works too. This is the moment when compounding stops being a theory and starts becoming an experience. And for many people, it's the first time they truly believe wealth building is possible. The second explosion happens at $100,000. Talk to enough investors and you'll hear the same number over and over again. $100,000. People often describe reaching $100,000 as the hardest milestone. Not because it is mathematically special, but because it changes your perception forever. Let's see why. At an 8% return, a portfolio worth $100,000 can generate $8,000 per year. That's about $667 per month without you lifting a finger. Suddenly, market gains start resembling a second paycheck. A strong year in the stock market could add $15,000 or $20,000. For the first time, your annual investment growth may exceed what you personally saved. This is why so many seasoned investors say, the first $100,000 is brutal. The next $100,000 comes much faster. Let's compare 2 decades. Investor A spends 10 years investing. Investor B spends 30 years investing. Both contribute $500 per month. Both earn 8% annually. After 10 years, portfolio value about $91,000. After 20 years, about $295,000. After 30 years, about $745,000. Notice something shocking. The investor contributed $180,000, but the portfolio grew to nearly $750,000. Where did the extra money come from? Time. Compounding doesn't reward intelligence as much as it rewards endurance. The investors who win aren't necessarily the smartest. They're the ones who stay in the game long enough for mathematics to take over. Here's something surprising. Most people don't fail because they make terrible investment decisions. They fail because they get bored. Think about the first decade. You skip vacations, you drive an older car, you save a few $100s every month, and after years of sacrifice, your portfolio still looks small. Social media doesn't help. You see entrepreneurs making millions overnight, crypto investors posting screenshots, influencers renting luxury lifestyles. Meanwhile, you're celebrating crossing $15,000, then $25,000, then $40,000. It feels insignificant, but hidden beneath those ordinary numbers is something extraordinary. Momentum. The hardest years of investing are usually the years when compounding is quietly building the engine that will power everything later. Most people quit because they mistake slow progress for failure. Now, before you leave this video thinking that $75,000 or $100,000 is some universal formula, let's be clear. The compounding threshold changes for everyone. If you invest $250 per month, your tipping point arrives closer to $37,500. If you invest $1,000 per month, your tipping point arrives around $150,000. The rule is simple. Take your annual contributions and divide by your expected return. For example, annual contributions $12,000. Expected return 8%. $12,000 divided by 0.08 equals $150,000. That number represents the moment when your investments begin matching your own effort. For the first time, compounding catches fire. Here's what wealthy people eventually realize. Compounding isn't primarily about money. It's about behavior. The real challenge isn't finding the perfect stock, or timing the market, or predicting the economy. The challenge is surviving the years when nothing exciting seems to happen, because the wealthiest investors often share one trait. They stayed. They kept investing during recessions. They kept buying when headlines looked terrifying. They kept going when progress felt invisible. The stock market rewards patience in a way that few other systems do, and the people who benefit most are often the ones who simply refuse to quit. If there's one thing I'd like you to remember from this video, it's this. Compounding does not feel powerful in the beginning. For years, it looks slow, ordinary, and almost disappointing. But beneath the surface, something remarkable is happening. Every contribution is building momentum. Every year is multiplying the years before it. And somewhere between your first investment and your final goal, there comes a moment when your money starts working as hard as you do. Most people never experience that moment because they stop too soon. Don't mistake slow growth for failure. The most extraordinary part of compounding isn't how quickly it makes people wealthy. It's how long it asks them to believe before the rewards finally appear. I'm Morgan Vals. Build small, grow strong, live free. And I'll see you in the next video.